selection.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Are we ready to do this?
It's recording right now.
Hi, my name is John. I'll be your guide and leader for this exploration of the Wardrobe Manager prototype from the Wardrobe Manager team. This is a paper walkthrough, a mock-up of our prototype. And since this is not a technology that we can actually implement, we had to use a paper-based system to show what it would look like. When the user comes in, all that they're going to see initially is on a mirror approximately this size, like a full-length mirror that you might see in a typical bathroom. You would see the mirror here, and there will be two indicators. These two right here, the power on-off and the current temperature and weather conditions outside. And this information is relevant, no matter whether the system is functioning or not. So we wanted to make sure that we just included that. And these are translucent, so you'll actually see through them. They won't actually block your view of yourself in your mirror. That translucency is something that's pretty important for the system so that the mirror is functional as well as having the application functional. Now, it's going to be obvious in terms of affordances that the system is on or off because you're going to see all the remaining detail when the system is on. So when the user first comes up, if the screen is not on, they won't see any of this or any of these materials here. All they'll see is the current weather and the power on-off button. So when the user comes in to use the Wardrobe Manager, they're going to click the power on-off button. When that happens, the screen will then light up. And we have three particular bands that we use with our Wardrobe Manager to choose various items of clothing. The top band is limited to items that are worn above the waist. So these would be blouses or shirts, coats, things along through those lines. The middle band is reserved for things that are worn below the waist, pants, skirts, kilts, miniskirts, shorts, anything along through those lines. And the bottom band is reserved for those items which are accessories. In this particular example, we have a couple of shirts, and we have on either side of the shirt list a double-sided arrow and an area that the user can touch. This arrow, when it is blue, indicates that there is more content to the left-hand side, and blue also indicates there's more content to the right-hand side. And that means that I can scroll backwards and forwards through my outfits. Now, each of these outfits is entered in through our web-based management system, but that is not part of our current prototype. The web-based interface is considered another part of the project, and we're not really particularly worried about that particular part at this time. Now, down on the next one, you'll see that we've got a grayed out arrow for the selection on bottoms, and that means that we've hit the left-hand side of this list, that we can't scroll anymore to that point. All right, but we can certainly move to the right. The way this user is going to come in and use this system is they'll come in and they'll turn it on, they'll take a look at the current conditions, and they'll think about what they're going to do with the system. For example, I'm going to work. It's in the morning, a traditional use. So I'm going to click on the Work Preset button. These four presets adjust the clothing choices depending upon what you're going to do. For example, if you chose work, you should not see a Hawaiian flowery-dowery golf shirt in the list. And the reason why is because you're probably not going out to play golf with your clients in Hawaii. You're probably going to want more business-like attire. So when you choose work, the choices that you have for each band will be limited to those items that fit within the work category. So we've chosen work, so we have to go to work, and then we'll find a list of tops to choose from and a list of bottoms to choose from. Now, when I choose a top or I choose a bottom, either the tops list or the bottoms list will alter depending upon which items I've chosen. For example, if I choose this top, the bottoms list, scrollable again, will change to reflect those items that are compatible, are matching, same texture, same weather conditions with this top. So when we see a long-sleeved shirt like this, we won't see a mini skirt or a pair of gym shorts in the list with it. We'll actually see clothing that is relevant to that particular item. When we touch it, it's not shown right here and it's hard to show in the prototype, but when we touch it, we'll actually see this background turn yellow. It will be a translucent yellow. Again, all this is on the screen so that you still can see through it, but the background of this item will turn yellow to indicate that we've chosen that. When we do, the band for the bottoms will change to reflect only those items that are compatible with the top. And again, the criteria might be style, weather, location, working conditions, different sorts of things may be assigned, and those would be done again through the web interface. Once a bottom is chosen, then a set of accessories is going to be listed. So if we chose a nice work blouse, we might see a nice skirt that is associated with it that we choose. And then we'll find that, okay, well, we've got a watch accessory and a belt accessory that will go with those. And you can select more than one accessory item, and each one that you select will turn yellow to indicate that you've selected that. Now, if you want to unselect it, you just merely touch it again, and the interface will go back to a white or clear background so that you'll know that that item is no longer selected. And if you scrolled through and you had an item that scrolled off the screen, when you scroll back in the screen, it'll still be yellow because it still maintains some the fact that it is selected. So each of the choices, when I choose the bottom, the top would then alter. Oh, I like this skirt. What blouses or what shirts do I have to go along with it? So all these would change depending upon which selections I make here. But nothing would change if I say I want to wear this watch. So accessories, choosing an accessory doesn't make sense that it would change a top or a bottom. So this band operates slightly differently. When I'm done with my selections, I can use the accept button, and the system will automatically check these accessories out. It will say that they are no longer available. We'll assume for the short term that when we wore our blouse and our skirt that they need dry cleaning. And so it'll move them into a category to say they're not accessible the next time. If you have an item that is not accessible because it's being washed, it's been loaned out to a friend, or it's in need of repair, maybe it's at the dry cleaners, then that particular item still shows, but it's grayed out. It has a gray background instead of a yellow background. And the gray background merely indicates that this item is in your list of items that you own, but it is not available for you to choose at this time. So when you accept, those items are checked out, or you might say, I just really want to restart this process. Let's reset. And much like the reset button on a website, the entire process will be reset. You'd have to reselect a party environment. You'd see party clothes, or a sports environment. You'd see golf shirts, shorts, appropriate shoes, or whatever else for the accessories. So all this would be reset, and we would go up and down through the process. Lastly, one of the things you'll see here is a move up and move down button. We recognize that people are of varying heights, and for them to be able to see the choices, sometimes a taller person may need the list up here, or they want to see the list down here if someone is not so tall. So they have the option of moving the whole system up or moving it down by pushing on these particular buttons. And this is pretty much the way our prototype works. When we finished, we choose accept. We get our clothes, it's shown us what we have. We can then turn the system off. We can wear our clothes and see ourselves in the mirror and decide, yes, that's what we like. So once this is off, it would be much easier to see your entire outfit in the mirror. Now let me show you briefly what it looks like to see our system if it were in reality. And you can see a little bit of the functionality with the grayed out and the yellow sections. This is our screenshot mock-up. And so when we created this, you can see our weather here, and we've chosen to wear this particular blouse, and therefore we see choices that go along with it. And the pants here, if you can see it with the film, are grayed out because they're dirty, they're in the wash. So I can't actually wear these pants, so I can't select those. But I've chosen this top to wear, and now I've got an appropriate set of sandals and a belt, and I've even got an umbrella selected because we're looking at a chance of rain. So the weather criteria also goes into affecting what our accessory choices may be. You see the various buttons that we have that would move back and forth. And one of the things we learned when we did this is initially we had our power button here. Well, if the system is off, we have a power button down here, and the weather area up here with nothing in between, and the power button just seems to be floating in the middle of air. So it made more sense to move the power button up closer to the weather area, and that's how we ended up with our final mock-up here. And this is, again, how our wardrobe system works. If you're looking at it and you're wondering why we have all these strips, because these are all different clothing items that you can choose. And in order to be able to simulate the process, we can move the various clothing items back and forth and see what the actual choices might look like within the user screen. That concludes this presentation. Thank you.
I don't know which button to click now to turn it. This one or this one? So, sure.